Agenda. Go ahead, Jim, whatever you got.
And we'll call the roll first. Karen, if you'd be so kind.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Jelinek?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Shatina?
Here.
Mr. Walden?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, again, this is the duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Plan Commission for the month of July. And we've got a series of things to be done, but we do have a request to move one item of business up. And so we're going to honor that request, and we're going to move up item number, on your agenda, it's item number 5, letter B, and it's an ordinance approving a street name change from Rosary Lane to Barnett Lane. And in that case, SN 1-13, it's a street name change. The applicant is Ed Aikman on behalf of the Homeowners Association. The owner of that street is obviously the city of Joliet. The requested action is to approve the street name change from Rosary Lane to Barnett Lane. The purpose is to honor the memory of Dr. Mort Barnett. The location is Sanctuary Subdivision, the south side of Black Road, east of Essington. The size of the road to be named is 68 foot wide, 131 foot in length. Surrounding land use and zoning is single-family residential on all sides, all in the city. To the north end would also be an unincorporated Will County. For background, the subject site was annexed to Joliet in 1999 and platted as the Sanctuary PUD subdivision. The majority of the subdivision was built out between the years of 2000 and 2003. The subdivision was developed with public streets, single-family lots. Lot lines ring a road which connects Black Road via the north entrance known as Rosary Lane, and that is the subject site. The second entrance is the west exit, connects to Essington Road via Big Timber.
Thanks, Jim. Ed Aikman, you got anything you want to add to it? Come on up anyway.
Brevity is best.
First time Ed's been here in 27 years. Huh?
Welcome back.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. Presently, there's no post office delivery on that street. And also, the police, the fire, the public works utilities know where the sanctuary is. When I tell people about the sanctuary, if you're coming from the west, you'll see the sanctuary sign. From the east, you'll see the sanctuary sign. So Dr. Barnett was our chairman our president for 12 years. Did a super job. That's all I have to say.
I had a lot of dealing with Dr. Barnett over the years as a neighborhood supporter. He was very active in each neighborhood he lived in, and a very well-regarded man. To the north of this is unincorporated Will County. It's also Rosary Lane, but it's unincorporated
Right.
Will County, so we're not breaking any laws or any rules. So
No.
Troy Township, which he owns. Anything else, anybody? Anybody from the audience? Hearing nothing, there's a motion in order to approve this name change from, of course, it'll go to the council, won't it?
That is correct. It does.
From Rosary Lane to Barnett Lane.
So move.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank
Motion
you,
carries.
commissioners, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we'll move back to the agenda as printed. And in the first one, we've got, I guess it's the first page and a half. We've got 3 cases. We've got annexations A5, A6, and A7, and they're all part of the old Olin property down on either side of Patterson Road, north of Laraway Road. And in this case, we've still got to work out some final details on the annexations, and for that reason, the petitioner is requesting that these matters be tabled. Staff concurs in that request to have them tabled to let us work out those details. And so with that, there'd be a motion, would be in order to entertain a tabling of case A5, A6, and A7.
Jim, I have a question. I want to
Sure.
see if any of the members have a question first.
Sure, go ahead.
Anybody have a question?
No.
Jim, the 2 lakes, those 2 retention lakes, I put in quotes, those are nasty. Are we annexing those?
Not part of the annexation at this point in time. It's my understanding that the Olin Company may have kept ownership of that. I'm not certain about that. It's not part of the annexation, and I don't think it was part of the Port of Will County development, and subsequently that Center Point picked up. I don't know if there's any everybody in the room that came for this case that's representative. Usually, I know Attorney Mike Hansen's been handling a lot of this stuff. Because of the tabling request, I don't know that there's anybody here that could answer any questions.
There's a gentleman here. Could you come up, please?
Oh, Rusty's here.
Clayton Thurston, Project Manager with Geotech on behalf of Centerpoint. At this time, those two portions, I believe, are under ownership by Waste Management and
Okay.
Olin both, but that's not part of this petition, and to my
Okay,
knowledge.
so we're not even entertaining that at all?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Well, I suppose this is out of order to go to the audience now because we're going to do a table.
Normally on a tabling motion, you can't, but in the past, we have entertained comment from the public. Again, take it
I
under
prefer to do
advisement
that.
for when this thing comes back.
Are there any public comments on this? Anybody here from the public? Okay, hearing none, there's an motion in order to table. Give us the numbers again, will you, Jim?
It's annexation cases A5, A6, and A7.
Okay, a motion is in order to table said numbers.
Second.
So moved.
Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Like sign. Okay, so they're tabled.
Next up, we've got, under the public hearing portion, we've got another annexation. It's A8-13. It's the annexation of 814 Draper Avenue, a classification to R1, which is a single-family residential zoning, as well as the approval of an annexation agreement. In this case, the applicant is Marilyn G. Fisher, the owner of the property. The requested action is to annex it into the city of Joliet. The city would classify it then as single-family R1 residential. And the reason for the request is they would like to connect to city's water system. Existing zoning is a residential unincorporated Will County zoning, and again, it's at 814 Draper Avenue. The size of the parcel is slightly under 1 acre. It has a single-family house on the property. Surrounding land use and zoning is undeveloped unincorporated Will County to the north, commercial B1 to the south. To the east is commercial and unincorporated Will County, and to the west is industrial I-2, and that would be what's now the Canadian National Railroad yard. Site history, there are no previous cases. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting annexation of a single-family home in order to connect to the city water service. Service is available from a 16-inch main that runs in front of the property on the east side of the bridge. The property is currently connected to the city's sanitary sewer. The subject property will be subject to a tap-on fee for the water. Detachment fees are not required because the property was not paying taxes to the Fire Protection District or the Library District as per a 2012 tax bill. The R1 single-family residential zoning request is in character with the property's lot size. The Community Design Review Board met and reviewed this matter on July the 3rd. The minutes of that meeting are attached, and that concludes the staff report.
Any comments from the staff, from the committee?
I have a question. Is Public Works okay with this?
Yes, they are.
Okay. It seems a large main to probably tap a 1-inch line, so it just seems,
I think that we're going to work out a way to do that. I know Jim Egan was working on that, and I know that they have to do like dye tests and some other things to see where it was going to go and see what was going to happen on the sewer side of things. And again, I don't know how they were going to do it on the water side, but I know they worked out the details.
thank you.
Anybody else on the commission? Jim, where's the water?
The water's right in front of the property, from what I
So it can
understand.
just punch right in.
Well, it's not going to be that easy, and like Jason was saying, because of the size of the
1-inch line.
service in front of it, but they'll figure out a way to do it.
But that's all they're going to service is that house.
Correct. That is correct.
All right. And then the cross-shaped part to the south, is that nursing home?
That is correct. That's Hillcrest Nursing Home.
Then our fire station's up here in the,
That's correct.
Left
Just
hand
up the
corner.
hill, just up the hill around the bend a little bit.
all right. Anybody from the audience wish to make a comment?
Well, we do have the petitioner here, I think, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask for them.
Yep.
Would you like to come forward? Where's the petitioner at? You're the petitioner.
My name is Johnny Fisher. I represent my sister-in-law, Marilyn.
And you live what? You live in Joliet?
Yes?
Did I talk to you the other day about something?
No? I don't think so.
Okay. All right, give us a little spiel. You want to annex into the city to get the water,
Right, that's exactly.
and you've looked at the pros and cons of paying for water and hooking up and all that kind of stuff. And so, and where's the sewer at? You don't have to do the sewer?
The sewer was already hooked up. We don't know when or how.
But he's got it.
You've got it.
Fine. So he's really not a problem. Anybody else have any comments? You have any more comments?
No, no, it's
All right.
none at all.
A motion is in order to approve the annexation, and the installation is up to him, and you're going to work that out. Where are you at with it? Tell us where you're at with that water thing.
With hooking to the water,
Yeah,
yeah, the next step is upon annexation approval by the mayor and city council, then what they would do is work out the details, and then they would have to hire a contractor that would go about hooking to the water system in an improved manner by the utilities department, and then the petitioner would have to, hire the contractor to do that work, and then they would be all set and ready to go,
so
and
all they got to do is have Egan or Mackley approve it after it's done, or whoever. Who does that? Mackley?
usually it's Egan and the utilities department.
Okay.
What kind of timetable are you looking at, Jim, to get something like that done?
Ernie, you've probably had contractor all lined up, and it's not a lengthy process.
Yeah, we're pretty well set as
Okay.
soon as everything gets okay.
Okay.
Here's a motion in order for approval of, what number is it? A8-13.
Correct.
Anybody want to make a motion? You're just going to sit here.
I'll make a motion. Move
We
the,
got to move. We got a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Welcome to the city again. You're in place
you.
now.
Okay, the next item up for consideration is a reclassification, and this would be item number 5, letter A, and it's an ordinance approving a reclassification of 1100 to 1120 Parkwood Drive from a B3 general business zoning to an R5 high-density multifamily zoning. The applicant is William J. Quinn. He is the owner of the property. The request is to change the zoning to have it align more with what the land use is. It currently has the B3, which would allow general business zoning. Its proposed zoning would be then the R5. The location is, like we said, is 1100 through 1120 Parkwood Drive. That is at the southeast corner of Illinois Route 6 Maple Road and Parkwood Drive. Size of the property is 3.1 acres, and it currently exists is multifamily residential with 42 units located in 7 6-unit apartment buildings, and that is a dwelling, or a density of 13.5 dwelling units to the acre. To the north is single-family and undeveloped with unincorporated Will County zoning. To the south is multifamily with the same B3 general business zoning. To the east is the Park District with B3 and single-family zonings. And to the west, the single-family neighborhood park and undeveloped with a B3. Under site history, the site is part of the Park Hill 3rd Edition subdivision. It was annexed to the city of Joliet in 1969 and reclassified from an R3 to the B3 concurrently with the annexation. The multifamily residential buildings at the site, known as Pine Ridge Apartments, were constructed in 1973. The petitioner plans to refinance the property, and the reclassification to multifamily residential will help facilitate the refinance. No physical changes are planned at the site. A plat of the survey is attached to the staff report. And then lastly, the Community Design Review Board minutes from July the 3rd are attached. There are no outstanding comments from any of the city departments, and that concludes the staff report.
Any comments from the commission?
I had a question. Does this change anything for the tax status to the city?
Probably not. Probably not. Back in the old zoning, apartments were allowed in the B3. That's how these things were built. Now our requirement is that you have to have residential multifamily zoning, and then even now we go through a planned unit development process even to find out which way, how the buildings will be constructed and what they will look like when they're finished. That's today's standard. These were built long before we adopted today's standard. So, no, it should have no change to the taxes or nothing there.
I was wondering because he's going to get a better price, I guess, for when he wants to take out a loan or something like that for it. And I wonder if
To
the city would
refinance.
end up
No,
getting a less tax base on it.
No, I think A lot of times the tax assessors go by what's the use is, not necessarily what the zoning is.
Thank you.
Any other committee? Jim, they currently have B3 business zoning,
Correct,
and they want to go to R5.
correct.
And B3 business zoning carries a higher assessed valuation than R5 in general. That may not be the case here. You can check that unless you already did.
I did not check it, but it's been my experience that the tax assessors don't put much value on the zoning. They look at the actual use,
So value and use.
value of the use, and where we used to see that quite a bit is that we would annex property, farmland, and zone it for a whole myriad of different uses, but the tax assessment wouldn't change on there until after something was built. They would still enjoy farmland zoning, or excuse me, farmland assessments, even though that we annexed them into the city and we ended up giving them, preferential zoning. Usually the tax rates on the property didn't change until somebody went to build something or change something. And in this case, nothing's going to change. Everything will stay the same.
Jim, along the same lines that Rick was talking about, now, we've got 7 buildings with 6 units each, I think, yeah.
Correct.
And they're probably there before there were any requirements with respect to runoff, water retention, all that kind of thing.
That's correct.
Let's say we had this 3.1 acres vacant, currently zoned B3, and they want to go to the new zoning, R5. Would they or would they not have to meet the classification that requires the on-site retention or whatever it might be?
Oh, yeah, they would most likely not. If somebody came in with this size of a parcel now, they would not get this density. They would not be able to achieve this density that we have shown here based upon all of those things, the need for open space and stormwater detention areas and parking areas, size of parking areas, and all of the things that we now require. So, no, this is
But they're exempt in this regard.
grandfathered in because this was built back at a time when that was the standard going forward at that time.
Anything else from the commission? Petitioner here?
Yes.
Could you come up? Introduce yourself, name and address.
My name is Bill Quinn. I'm the owner of the property Pine Ridge Apartments, 1100 to 1120 Parkwood. And you want my home address, or?
That's fine.
Okay.
Is this vacant piece going down horizontally? Is that you? You own that vacant piece?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead. Tell us what your concern is.
Well, I went to refinance the property, and it was going to be a Fannie Mae loan, and they said that they would not do it because it was zoned B3, because it would prevent me from rebuilding. And I know that even if we go to R5, I still wouldn't be able to rebuild the same amount of units, but it just gives me the opportunity to rebuild, and that's satisfied what they needed to know.
Jim, doesn't B3 encompass everything under it, including R5?
It does, but now you could, from the bank standpoint, it's like a one-to-one replacement or like-in-kind replacement. So they wanted some guarantees, and for us, on the rebuilding side of things, it would put something in jeopardy. Maybe if it had the commercial, it would be subject to interpretation. So I can't really fault the lending institution for taking that direction. For us, everything stays the same. If something were to happen catastrophically out there and there was a need to rebuild, they would always be under the PUD process, be able to come and request, at least from the city, that things be put back the way they were
have to come
before.
back with a PUD.
There's no guarantees that they would be granted that by the mayor and the council, but at least they would have the ability to seek that out. And it's been our practice in the past that, especially where we see this as garages that are at zero lot line, when they come to the zoning board to get, to replace a garage and ask for a variance request, almost always they've been granted. And something like this would probably also be the case, so.
All right.
Mr. Quinn, were you planning on rehabbing them or something?
I've been in the process. I've owned them for a long time, and we've already rehabbed them once, but we are doing a lot of work there presently.
You're not tearing the buildings down? though?
No,
Okay.
no.
Anyone else on the commission? Anyone in the audience care to talk on this issue? If not, there's a motion in order. Jim, you done?
Yeah.
If not, there's a motion in order to approve Z413 reclassification from 1100 to 1120 Parkwood Drive from B3 to R5. A motion's in order.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, next up, we have a study session, item number 6. We have no items to discuss there. Item number 7 then would be the approval of the minutes. I think the minutes were passed out, so we would be looking for a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
Did anybody read the minutes?
That was June the 20th of last month.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor
All in favor,
signify by aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are
Minutes
passed.
are carried, all right.
And next up, I don't think we have anything else that I'm overlooking, and I guess would be a motion to adjourn.
Is anybody here who wasn't heard that's supposed to be heard? Okay, we're done. Thank you for coming.
Okay. I guess that's unanimous approval of the... Unanimous approval of all the work.
That takes all kinds, though.
Yeah.
We had 2 people in the audience that were no particular